Welcome back to the curious case of Imaginary Ernie. As with the previous tapes, what you're about to see has been digitized from a degrading VHS source originally created in the late 1990s. The static, the tape warping, the odd jump cuts, they're all part of the original experience. Chapter 3 is, without question, the most bizarre installment yet. This tape dives deeper into the strange mosaic of events tied to what we've come to call the titular title of The Curious Case of Imaginary Ernie. This time the focus shifts to Ernie's children and their time spent in the children's ward, along with what eventually unfolded there. We'll also look into the death of Detective Brown and the fire that gutted the coroner's office, two events still surrounded by mystery and conflicting reports. You'll hear interviews, some formal, some less so. Staff members from the Big Red Apple Preschool and parents of the so-called Ernie's kids give their recollections, some disturbing, some fragmented, all unsettling. There's also more information, possibly lore, about the Imaginary Ernie song, as well as Imaginary Ernie himself. And for the first time, input from the local church begins to surface. How they're involved is something we'll let unfold as the tape plays out. Per usual, I don't know who created these tapes. I still don't know why, but after viewing this chapter, I've developed a strong theory about who might be behind them. I'll share that with you at the conclusion of this segment. Let's begin. Tape 3 of The Curious Case of Imaginary Ernie.
This is Detective Richard Harlow. Timestamps irrelevant. If you're hearing this, either you're too deep to get out, or you're not listening close enough. My partner, Detective Thomas Brown, is dead. Burned himself alive in the coroner's office. They found his badge fused to his chest, wallet melted into the floor beside him. Before he died, he left a message, said he couldn't stop thinking about the body of Jenora Crabtree, said he needed to go back to the morgue. Sounded like he thought something was still there. The recording, it wasn't right. His voice was panicked, erratic. He talked about something on the security footage, something no one could explain. A clown, standing in the morgue after Crabtree's autopsy. No one buzzed anyone in. No one saw it enter or leave. Just there, flickering on screen like a skipped heartbeat, posing with Crabtree's corpse like it knew the camera was watching. I took the tape recorder from the scene. Brown had it with him before he burned. The same one Jenora Crabtree had before she set herself on fire inside that godforsaken preschool. That's two people, same exact pattern, same recorder, same tape, same final act. He should have walked away. But instead, he went back to the coroner's office, middle of the night. Brought the tape recorder, brought the tape, pressed record. What happened next, I don't even know what's real anymore. But the building's gone, nothing left but melted steel and ash. And the tape, it's still here, unburned, untouched, like it wanted to be found. After that night, I went to see the children, the ones everyone calls Ernie's kids, 7 of them, all mute since the fire at the Big Red Apple Preschool. Their teacher, Jenora Crabtree, the same woman who lit the match that burned the whole damn place to the ground. These kids, they don't speak, but they draw, over and over again, same image, that damn clown. They used to call him Imaginary Ernie, used to sing about him before everything burned. And when I played that song for them, the original recording from the tape, it was like someone flipped a switch. They screamed the lyrics, all at once, loud, unified, like something was using them. And then they collapsed, every one of them, like puppets with their strings cut. I don't know what's happening, but it's not over, not by a long shot. End recording. Interview 1, Holly Chambers, fellow teacher. knew Jenora well, met me outside the rubble of what used to be the Big Red Apple. She said Jenora was kind, gentle, one of those people who belonged around children, the kind who made you feel like everything was going to be okay. Said Jenora had become obsessed with the Ernie thing, not in a scared way, but in a fascinated way. They'd sing that song over and over, she said. Holly broke down halfway through the interview, said she still doesn't believe it, doesn't believe Jenora would burn down the school, doesn't know why the kids were there that night. Interviewer 2, Helen Studer, custodian, been with the school since it opened in '84. She was quiet, polite, smelled like bleach and coffee, said the kids were sweet, happy, never caused trouble. But then she said something that stuck with me. When they started drawing the clown, it wasn't playful anymore. It was like they were trying to warn us, but didn't know how. She remembered their last week clearly, said she saw them sitting in the art room, singing, smiling, drawing, all at the same time, like a hive mind. I should have said something, she whispered. I just didn't think. She didn't finish that sentence. Interviewer 3, Harriet Stimpson, director of the preschool, sharp, controlled, all business. She knew about the Ernie stuff, called it a behavioral flare-up, said she personally asked Jenora to monitor the children, log their behavior, report to the parents. I asked if she ever listened to the song. She said no, said she didn't like songs without clear authorship. She seemed more annoyed than haunted. This whole thing is a mess, she said. We'll rebuild. The school will reopen. I've already moved the rest of the students to another facility. When I asked her what she thought made Jenora snap, she didn't hesitate. Maybe she looked too closely. And here they are, the 7 children they now call Ernie's kids. Jamie Patterson, age 5. Caleb Mendoza, age 4. Elijah Chavez, age 4. Johnny Whitworth, age 5. Kim Ward, age 4. Tanya Baker, age 5. Tom Masterson, age 4. They haven't spoken, but I think they're communicating with each other, with something else. I'm going to meet with a few of their parents. Maybe they can tell me what the hell happened. Thomas and Selena Whitworth, parents of Johnny Whitworth. The Whitworths were already waiting in the hall when I got there. They brought Johnny's baby blanket with them, even though he hasn't touched it in years. Mr. Whitworth kept asking if I thought the children had been drugged. Mrs. Whitworth just clutched that blanket and muttered, "He was singing. I heard him on the tape. That wasn't Johnny's voice." When I asked what she meant, she said, "It was lower, like something was behind him." Danny Patterson, father of Jamie Patterson. He kept asking why nobody's arrested anyone, why the preschool still has a sign out front, why the children's ward keeps giving them printouts of technical garble instead of actual answers. He showed me Jamie's shoes, still damp, mud caked into the seams. She never leaves the yard, not without me. He said Jamie hasn't cried once since they brought her to the children's ward. She just draws those damn clown pictures. I just want answers. I just want Jamie home. Sharon and Serena Mendoza, parents of Caleb Mendoza. The Mendozas said they were fully aware of the weird Ernie situation at the preschool, and Caleb was indeed acting strange at home, more and more as time progressed. But the night of the fire, they said he was just playing his new Super Nintendo system. He didn't want to watch his usual TV shows or do any more drawings. He just wanted to play games. When he went to bed, he didn't say goodnight or even turn off his gaming system. He just brushed his teeth and went to his bedroom. Emilio and Samantha Chavez, parents of Elijah Chavez. Mr. Chavez said Elijah used to be scared of clowns. Screamed in a grocery store once just seeing a clown-themed birthday party balloon display. Now, he only draws one thing, the same clown, over and over, smiling wider every time. Mrs. Chavez told me he made a mask out of paper plates, used to wear it at night. Says it keeps Imaginary Ernie happy. I asked if she still had the mask. She said Elijah buried it somewhere in the backyard, but they didn't know where. Brittany Ward, mother of Kim Ward. Mrs. Ward looked like she hadn't slept since the fire. She showed me a crumpled piece of paper Kim had drawn on, a childlike stick-figure clown with white piano keys for teeth. She said, "She was normal just a few days ago. Then she stopped speaking. Now she just listens." I asked what she was listening to. She said, "I don't know. She wouldn't tell me." Jacob and Regina Baker, parents of Tanya Baker. The Bakers brought Tanya's backpack, said they found it next to their bed, zipped up, filled with rocks. Mr. Baker kept it clinical. Timelines, data, questions about security footage. Mrs. Baker didn't speak until the very end. She whispered, "She used to laugh when she talked to us about Ernie. Now she just draws him." I asked what the drawings looked like. She said, "I don't know why his teeth are so long." Ryan Masterson, father of Tom Masterson. Tom's dad didn't sit down, paced the whole time, said he put his son to bed like always, woke up to flashing lights outside his house, no idea how Tom even left the house. When I mentioned the tape, he froze, said he recognized his son's voice singing along with the kids, "That damn clown song," he muttered, but didn't expand on the thought further.
Technical advisory audio warning. The following audio contains intense and potentially disturbing content. The sequence captures raw, unedited audio of Detective Harold Brown initiating a cassette tape recording, marked by the mechanical click of a tape deck, followed by his deliberate approach into the county coroner's office. Ambient sounds transition into escalating tension, culminating in the unmistakable ignition and combustion of the building's interior. Listeners will hear the crackle of fire, collapsing structure, and environmental chaos in real time. Discretion is strongly advised.
Carousel, 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 ooh, carousel, wait, carousel, wait, carousel, carousel, wait, carousel, carousel.
You ever stare at something so long you start to wonder if it's real or if your brain's just folding in on itself? That's where I'm at with this whole Imaginary Ernie thing. At first it was just a name, kids singing about in preschool play yards, but then things escalated. The kids, the 7 we're calling Ernie's kids, every single one of them drew the same figure, same face, same smile. And what the hell happened at the ward? I play them the tape and they suddenly start using their voices again, screaming the Ernie song at the top of their lungs. Then there's the deaths, the self-immolations, the fires, always fire, always after someone gets too close. And then there's the footage of the clown on the security cameras. Is that Ernie? It can't be, can it? I've flipped through every report, rewatched every tape, listened to the recordings until I've memorized the static between words. I can't explain it, but I know what I've seen. I know what I've heard, and it's not nothing. It's not made up. I'm convinced that listening to that Imaginary Ernie song, the excerpt of Jenora Crabtree's cassette tape that contains the audio of the children singing in unison, is working as some kind of demonic poison, for lack of a better term. Crabtree heard it. She burned. Brown heard it. He burned. Coincidence? But I've heard the recording. I've heard that song. I don't have any urge to go and burn anything down. Explain that. Maybe it's because I've only heard it in its entirety once, and it was practically drowned out by the screaming vocals of those damn kids. Is that the reason? What the hell is going on? I'm on my own here. Whatever Ernie is, it's tangible. A person, a thing, something something that walks and leaves footprints and watch things burn down. And the worst part? No one else wants to hear it. Nobody but me, and maybe my dead colleague, Detective Brown, before they zipped up his charred remains in that body bag. I'm starting to think I need help outside the department. A church, a priest, someone who doesn't laugh at the word demonic like it's a joke. Because I don't think this is just a case anymore. I think this is something older, and it's still here.
St. Jude of the Vale.
Father Palermo, thank you for seeing me on such short notice. I wouldn't be here if this was just another case. I don't even know how to say this without sounding insane.
You don't need to explain yourself to me, Richard. You were baptized in this very church, and I've known your family for decades. Whatever's weighing on you, speak it.
Something happened at the Big Red Apple Preschool a few days ago. A teacher, Jenora Crabtree, burned herself alive. The children, 7 of them. They were found outside the building afterward, all of them, unharmed, but mute, completely silent. They haven't spoken a word since, and no parent seems to know how their kid got there in the first place.
May God have mercy. And you believe this is what exactly?
I don't know, Father. Before she died, Jenora had recorded a cassette tape of the children singing a strange song. Well, more like a chant, about someone or something they called Imaginary Ernie, a clown.
A clown?
Yeah, a clown, but not a fun one. They drew pictures of him, the same face, crazy teeth, over and over, too consistent to be random. And here's the thing, when Brown listened to the audio, he ended up burning the whole coroner's office down, himself included.
Dear God, that's horrible. How many deaths so far?
2. I've reviewed the security footage, Father. One from the morgue, the other from an adjacent building outside the coroner's office. The clown was there, somehow, face painted in a way that just stays with you. But we find no tracks, no prints, no physical evidence. It's like he's not there, except he is.
And this chant, you said it influences people?
Yes. The melody's simple but haunting. You hear it once, it lingers. You hear it multiple times. It gets to you. At least, that's what I think. Every one of the victims had listened to it repeatedly before they immolated themselves, and every child in that group sang it like it was scripture.
It sounds less like imagination and more like an invitation, something feeding off belief, off innocence, off repetition.
So, is it something demonic?
Richard, in all my years, I've learned that the devil rarely walks into your home through the front door. He whispers into a child's mind. He masks himself in laughter, in stories, in songs. It's subtle, until it isn't.
There were always rumors about you. Exorcisms, possessions. I didn't want to believe them as a kid.
Rumors tend to swirl around fire. I won't confirm all of them, but yes, I've stood face to face with things that do not belong in our world. And what you're describing, Richard, this Ernie, it may not be a who, but a what.
Then I need your help. I don't know where else to turn. The precinct's about to shut the investigation down, chalk it up to mass hysteria. But I know something's wrong. I feel it. Like it's watching.
Then you came to the right place. I'll need time to prepare. There are things I must consult. But make no mistake, this is no ordinary evil. It's clever, ancient, and very much alive.
So you'll help?
I will, but understand this. If we proceed, there's no turning back. Once you see the veil pulled, it never falls back into place.
And that concludes tape 3 of The Curious Case of Imaginary Ernie. Undoubtedly the darkest chapter in this ongoing and deeply unsettling saga. This real-life account, recorded nearly 35 years ago, continues to reveal layers that had long remained buried beneath time and silence. Why this case is faded so deeply from public memory remains a mystery in itself. Perhaps the townspeople simply chose not to remember. I, too, only recall fragments, headlines, evening news reports, but nothing as disturbingly detailed as what these tapes have begun to uncover. One detail in particular stands out. The label on this third tape bears the initials FW. To me, that can only point to Fred Willett, the night security guard at the coroner's office. Could he have been the one who created these recordings? And if so, why? Was it a personal obsession sparked by the tragedy following the fire? These are questions I hope to explore further in the final installment. So stay with us for tape 4, the last of the original 4 VHS recordings, as we continue to piece together the curious case of Imaginary Ernie. And as always, remember, never listen to the Imaginary Ernie song without the designated audio interruptions to safely disrupt its theorized frequencies and influence. Thank you for watching.